Picture this. You just invested $500,000 in what you think is the perfect Airbnb property, only to discover you're not legally allowed to rent it out for less than 30 days at a time, and you're facing $25,000 in fines because you didn't know about local short-term rental restrictions. In this video, I'm going to teach you exactly what legal requirements you need to check before buying a short-term rental, what documents you must have to protect yourself, and how to run your business legally and safely. My name is Bishoy Habib, and I'm the realest real estate attorney you know. Over the past 12 years, I've closed over 1,000 transactions totaling $12 billion. I've watched too many investors lose money in the short-term rental market because they didn't understand the legal landscape. Let me tell you about two recent clients of mine. First, there's Connor, a 23-year-old crypto millionaire who told me he was gonna disrupt the short-term rental space, bro. Then there's Rita, a retired high school principal who approached her rental business like she was planning a NASA mission. Their stories perfectly illustrate what to do and what not to do in this business. Connor bought a beautiful beachfront condo without doing any research. He thought since other units in the building were on Airbnb, he was good to go. Rita, meanwhile, came to me before making an offer on a similar unit. Here's what I checked for Rita and what you should always check before buying a short-term rental. Number one, zoning laws. Is short-term rental even allowed in your area? Check your city's planning and zoning department website or visit their office in person to review short-term rental ordinances and overlay districts. Look specifically for terms like vacation rental, transient occupancy, or short-term rental in the code. Number two, HOA or condo restrictions. What do the governing documents say? People love to do Airbnbs in condos, but you gotta make sure it's valid. So request a complete set of governing documents from the HOA or condo association, including all amendments and board meeting minutes from the past year. Pay special attention to rental restrictions, minimum stay requirements, and any pending changes to rental policies. And number three, municipal requirements. What licenses and permits do you need? Visit your city or county's business licensing department website or office to understand permit requirements, occupancy limits, and tax obligations. Make sure to specifically ask about both business licenses and short-term special licenses or permits as the cities might require. In Connor's case, the HOA had a minimum 30-day stay requirement, so he had to cancel $30,000 in future bookings and refund deposits. But it gets worse. The city fined Connor for operating without a license. One simple legal review would have prevented all of this. Rita, on the other hand, found a property where she was all good. We helped set up her business. There was no minimum stay requirements, no parking restrictions. We got licensed with the municipality beforehand, and we had no issues whatsoever. She's very happy right now. By the way, don't worry about writing all this down because I actually went ahead and created a short-term rental checklist for you that covers all these things you need to research and put into place to make sure your short-term rental investment is safe. You can access it by joining my Skool Community, which is 100% free to join. All you have to do is click the link in the description below. Next, let's talk about safety regulations. This is huge. In order to minimize your potential liability, your property should have smoke detectors in specific locations, carbon monoxide detectors, fire extinguishers, emergency exit plans, and pool safety equipment if you have a pool, and a first aid kit. These things don't make you immune from liability, but they do give you a legitimate argument that you are not negligent and that you made good faith efforts to keep your property safe for your guests. Legal documentation is an area I see investors get absolutely crushed, and it's usually completely preventable. I had a client who got sued for 6 figures last year because they didn't have their guests sign a waiver for the pool. Don't be that guy. First, let's talk about your rental agreement. This isn't something you download from Google, folks. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people use random templates they found online and it comes back to bite them. Your rental agreement is the first line of defense. Think about it. This is the document that tells your guests what they can and cannot do. What happens if they break your stuff and what happens if things go wrong. I've also included a template for short form rental agreement in my Skool Community if you want to check that out. But here's where it gets really scary. Liability waivers. You absolutely need these, especially if you have amenities like a pool or hot tub, or if you let guests ride a bike. The client that I referenced earlier thought their regular homeowner's insurance would cover everything. But guess what? Their guest got hammered, slipped by the pool, broke their arm, and sued for over $100,000. Without proper waivers and hold harmless agreements, they were completely exposed. Now, let's talk about guest screening because this is crucial. You're literally letting strangers into your investment property, so you better know who they are. Verify IDs, check rental history, and impose clear booking policies. Otherwise, you might have a guest throw a 100-person party and almost collapse the second floor. True story. Pro tip, you might not want young kids in the property or teenagers or young adults, But don't ever put in writing that you're denying someone because of their age, because that's kind of illegal. Now, you also need rock solid financial protection. I'm talking about security deposits, credit card authorizations, and clear damage assessment procedures. Here's a tip most people miss. Document the condition of everything before and after each stay. Take date stamped photos of everything. When a guest tries to claim a stain was already there, you'll have proof it wasn't. Your house rules aren't just suggestions, they're part of your legal protection. They need to be clear, specific, and enforceable. I'm talking about quiet hours, parking rules, maximum occupancy, everything. And here's the key. You need to be able to prove your guest acknowledged and agreed to those rules. Look, I know this seems like a lot, but here's the reality. You're running a high-risk business in a litigious society that involves strangers paying to stay in your property and probably party a little bit. The potential for things to go wrong is huge, but if you have the right documentation in place, you're protected. If you don't, well, let's just say I've seen too many investors learn that lesson the expensive way. Whether you're just looking to pick up your first short-term rental or you manage a portfolio of 100 of them, check out the free checklist I created using my years of experience using the link below. Remember, this business can be incredibly profitable, but only if you do it right from day one. Consult with local professionals before you start. Yes, it costs money up front, but it's a lot cheaper than learning things the hard way. Just ask Connor. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to join my school and like and subscribe for more legal real estate tips that could save you thousands.